This is Joe from Machine in the Mountain. You got it on Honest Brutality.
Created by the people. Created for the people. No holds barred. No punches pulled. Just honest brutality. I don't know what the fuck you guys are thinking. But you don't ever talk about my band again. What's this honest brutality shit anyway?
Honest Brutality.
Hey everybody, it's Evil with Honest Brutality, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Camera Rebel.
And we have a very special guest on the line today, Camera Rebel.
Yes, we do.
We have Joe D from Machine in the Mountain on the line with us. You there, Joe?
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
It's going great. Thank you.
So what's going on with Joe and Machine in the Mountain?
Getting ready to do some rehearsing, actually, here before too long. Writing some new material. Everybody's been battling the sickness lately. We had the changing weather, everybody's had the flu and cold, and getting over that. We really haven't been in the room together in a couple of weeks, so ready to tear it up today.
Oh, well, good. You know what?
Nice.
You guys are an interesting group of guys. For the listening audience, for those of you who don't know who Machine in the Mountain are, how would you describe what you do? Because I know that I could just say it's an instrumental act, a groove band, a jam band, but I don't think any of those things really encompass what it is you guys do. Can you give me an idea how you explain it to people?
Well, like all three of those that you just laid down, all three of those make us feel pretty good. We really just try to combine a love for metal and, groove and heaviness, and mix it up with, I don't want to say shoegaze, but, things like that, things that are spacey and ethereal, and just try to find a blend. The instrumental thing is something we really sort of got stuck with and just kind of rolled with it. And it's just really had a fun time doing it. We enjoy playing this music, and I'm glad that people are starting to dig it. A lot of people tell us it's good road music, like good for driving. And that's one of my favorite compliments to hear. I hope that everybody can play this stuff in their car and get to work feeling all right,
Right. So now you said that it was something that you guys were stuck with. Did you lose a vocalist, or how did you guys get stuck with it?
We went through a few.
Yeah.
We went through a few trying to get the band started. We had all pretty much all the players in place as it is now, and just couldn't find anybody to stick really. And we were getting honestly stir crazy. Talk about multiple personalities and craziness, and you got these four guys stuck in these four walls. It's like, oh my God, we've got to get out of here. So we really just booked a couple of shows and started gigging, and people really seemed to like it and kept asking when we're going to play again. So we just rolled with it and kept going, just tried to write interesting songs, we don't want to be so spacey that people get lost, oh God, when are these guys going to stop, but we like to, all of us like groove and big metal fans, and try to have those moments, but keep everything interesting at the same time. It's tricky.
Awesome. Yes, I bet. Well, you know what? One of the things that I really like about your guys' music is that it's going one place, and then it turns the corner, and then it turns another corner, and it's just, I love it.
That's fantastic. That's the thinking. Life is like that. Life turns a lot of corners, and I think our music reflects that. This band's had a crazy ride in the 3-4 years we've been at it, and music kind of definitely reflects that.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of an uncommon thing to find instrumental only acts anymore today.
Absolutely.
So I was very intrigued. Now, just for the listening audience so that they understand, one of the reasons that we're having this conversation right now and that we're connected is because we're both working together for an event, Bands Against Bullying, that is coming up in June in Neosho, Missouri. Now,
and it's fantastic.
Well, thank you, sir. Yes. And we thank you so much for being a part of it. And we'll get a little bit more into that in a minute. But back to your music for just a second. When we were sitting around and talking about the different bands that we were going to potentially bring to the event, the promoter, Mr. Taylor, wonderful gentleman, had said, hey, look, I've got all these different acts that I work with and ones that have reached out to me. And he goes, and you got to check these guys out. He goes, every time they get booked somewhere, people will walk up and they start playing and they don't have a vocalist. And he goes, and I love to watch the crowd because they always are like, oh, where's the vocalist? Oh, there's no vocalist. And then they're like, holy shit, these guys are awesome.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Oh,
and online, I've seen a couple of different reviews where you're met with a lot of critical acclaim in the same vein, where people go expecting to kind of be bored with the instrumental ideal and walk away feeling like they came away with something.
that's fantastic to hear. That's the thinking. I like that. We hope that people aren't bored watching it, and it's
Right.
like I was saying, it's tricky to keep people hooked. Hence the hard turns, the hard lefts. It's
Right.
just you've got to pour life into it. This is, most of us have been at this for a long time, and it's just anymore. It's a pleasure to play in a good group with good people, and I think that's that music shows through after a while, and it just we play every song, play every set like it's the end of the world. It's the last chance we'll have on stage, and just go for it. Really try to give somebody something to remember. And if people are hearing, a sound, if we're playing the soundtrack to the movie that's going on in people's heads, that's fantastic.
That's
That's
badass.
amazing.
That's the greatest thing in the world.
That just gives me chills.
Now, what's going on with you guys right now? Are you working on recording some material, or are you just getting out and playing? What are you doing?
We just, back in September, right about the time we opened up for Avatar, we put out our third EP, and this time it was self-recorded, self-produced. We've worked with a fantastic engineer here in town, Paul Odom, at Church of Bigfoot Studios. We did our first 2 EPs with him, and he's just amazing. And this time we've gotten into recording ourselves a lot in our jam room, and our demos were starting to sound kind of sharp, and it's like, man, what would happen if we stop and work on this? So
Right.
we did the third one ourselves, and really, really, really happy with the results. So right now we're just said, shoot, let's keep writing. Let's get new music. Let's get it on tape as quickly as we can. Let's scrutinize it, refine it, really hone it, and try to put out a good, like anywhere from like 8 to 10 songs, album, a little bit longer than the 4-song EPs we've been putting out.
Right.
Give somebody something cool, big work, something with the story behind it, that people can warp and twist and make their own.
Yeah, open.
But
for
then it
interpretation.
becomes everybody's.
Absolutely.
It becomes everybody's album then.
I love that.
I do too. I think that's fairly brilliant. Really, that's the way
Yeah.
it should be. Artists writing what they like to write and
Yeah.
making it malleable.
Mhm.
And going back to that, I've read a couple of different things about you guys being very interactive when you do perform live. How so?
We use samples a lot. I mean, we don't have a singer. I've sort of taken on the role of MC over the night, just kind of talking to the crowd, but we like to throw, movie snippets from like classics or strange things. The internet is awash with moments of brilliance and ridiculousness that we
Right.
all love. And little things like that, we throw on in between songs or start a show with something like that. And it automatically, it throws a familiarity
I see.
at people,
Yeah.
and just kind of, if people are chuckling as you're playing the first song, it's a good way to get everybody involved.
Yeah, I like that. So, we listen to a lot of interviews that folks do with bands, and one of the biggest questions that bothers me is, where did the band name come from? And we like really steer clear from that, but I'm just so mesmerized by what in the heck does Machine in the Mountain? Where in the hell did that come from? I'm doing it. I'm asking that question.
To know where it came from, for that you'd have to ask John. John's our co-guitarist. He does most of the lead work in the band. He's fantastic, brilliant little human being. He's the one that pinned the band. He had it already kind of fit together in his mind. We've all got our own. That's the cool thing about the band being malleable to the audience. It's malleable to us too.
Mhm.
There's an underlying theme to the band, but all 4 of us have our own picture in our minds of what the Machine in the Mountain is, and I think that's really neat.
That is really neat.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. The first thing that got evoked when I heard the name and heard the music was like an alternative soundtrack to Lord of the Rings.
Right?
That's
Seriously,
awesome.
I was like, it all kind of works. Machine in the Mountain and this kind of fantasy-esque
Yeah.
metal. You know, I could
a bunch of orcs, slogging away making music.
Yeah.
That describes us pretty good.
Yeah, not that elf shit, not the elven pretty shit. I'm talking, I'm talking those mean
Fire
sons of bitches.
and metal.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
That's totally. You know what? I'm gonna do some Photoshop work with that. I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch out. He's pretty slick with Photoshop.
So you said that you guys have all been doing this for quite a while. Obviously, you're veterans at your instruments. Did you all meet recently, or have you known the rest of the members of the band for quite a while?
Doug and Mike are bass and drums, respectively. They're brothers, about 8-9 years apart. Those two and I have been playing in bands together for probably 15 years. Wow. I found John via Craigslist, if you can believe it, about 4 years ago.
Men seeking men.
Pretty much,
that
newish prog metal band, It's like, am I going to have to buy a 7-string or something? I don't know.
So you're telling me that the drummer and bass player probably known each other for a few years then?
No, absolutely. I mean, their entire family is musical. Their dad's a long-standing country bass player. Their older brother was a sideman for Willie Nelson. I mean, it runs in their family. They're bred to play music. So to catch a rhythm section, that's a pair of brothers, only a few years removed, that was pretty cool for me. I've been chained at the ankle to these clowns since I met them, and I don't know what I'd do without them. They're fantastic.
Cool. That's super cool. You guys are out in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, correct?
Yes, sir. Right in the heart of it. And
you'd said earlier that you had opened for Avatar. Are you traveling around quite a bit, or is there a lot of activity in your area for shows?
We get a pretty good stream of shows and bands coming through in here. We've got a gig with OTEP here in July before too long that we got pretty excited about. We've had just Perfect Circle played downtown at the BOK Center last night. We get a pretty steady influx of shows here at Tulsa. It's not as comparable to somewhere like Chicago or Dallas, but we get our fair share.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Nice.
And in fact, that brings to light an event that you gentlemen are going to be playing, and I am excited to be able to meet you face to face, sir, and shake your hand.
Absolutely.
We're excited to meet you guys and excited to be playing there. I myself haven't been to Neo Show and saw a punk rock show there with some bands that may or may not be around, like maybe 16 years ago. It's been a long time for me. So coming back there and the cause is great. I think any musician has experienced some share of bullying.
Right.
A couple of us in the band have kids, and I mean, I myself personally don't. They go through it. Children are kind of awful to each other these days, and it's it's not the way to be.
Yeah, well, and that's why one of the reasons why we thought that this was so important, and this thing kind of grew organically on its own. It wanted to happen.
Yeah.
We are not the catalyst.
Beautiful.
I don't think there's any one person that said, "Hey, I'm going to do this." In fact, if I had to take my hat off to any one person in this whole organization right now, it'd be Chris Sullen Taylor. He's the one who really stepped forward and said, I want to do something.
Right.
Outside of that, though, everybody has been absolutely genuine and heartfelt. And I got to tell you, on the darkest days of the internet, of the news that I'm having, the feeling I'm getting just from this sense of community from people who don't know each other that are working like this together for this cause to raise awareness of bullying and to help with suicide prevention. These are amazing things to do for other humans, and it gives me hope and makes me feel pretty good inside that maybe humanity has a chance.
Especially with rock and metal bands, I think. Heavy metal, has been, and I think will always be sort of a dirty word. And really, I mean, most of these practitioners are some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Absolutely.
I mean, and some of the most genuine players out there. And I mean, they truly care. They truly care. Everybody does. Each and every one of us. It's amazing to be a part of it. I don't know if we're the only band coming in from out of town. I certainly hope not.
No,
but
sir.
I'd like to see more of this. I'd like to see more of this kind of thing happen. It's it's pretty great.
No matter what the turnout, the result will be fantastic because it can be said that people came together for this cause and for this reason. And we have bands coming from all over the place. Under the radar, coming out from Memphis.
Yeah.
We have Severmind. We have Caliber Theory. We have Crane Technique. They're pretty close to home there. One Nation Under.
We've met Crane Technique only here recently, gigging with them. They're just amazing band, and it's going to be great to see those guys again. We've shared the stage with Severmind several times. Just fantastic metal, and just I personally am really stoked to see everybody else. We all like to get to the shows like this early and check everybody out, catch a flame before we go on stage, and yeah, we're all excited and really stoked to be a part of this.
Yeah, we cannot wait.
Yeah.
We thank you so much for your participation and involvement. And we also thank you for making wonderful music and helping the world be a better place.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That's totally the thinking. If we can reach anybody with music, I don't see how that could be a bad thing.
Well, tell me this. How can people find Machine in the Mountain, reach out to you, book you, talk to you, so on and so forth?
Well, there's a wonderful social media that, we're all a part of, the call of the Facebook. We can be found there and booked anytime. Our music's on Spotify. Music's on iTunes. You can look for it on Pandora here before too long. And as long as we have CDs, music can always be found at one of the shows.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for taking your time to talk to us today. We really appreciate you. Get out there and support Machine in the Mountain.
Yes.
Give them some love on Facebook.
And thank you guys so much for having us.
Absolutely.
Rage Radio and DMG Productions presents
You gotta fight for your right.
Bands Against Bullying 2017 at the West 60 Cycle in Neosho, Missouri, featuring Caliber Theory,
My everything, my last breath to my dying day.
Severmind, Switchback, Machine in the Mountain, and many more. June 10th at the West 60 Cycle in Neosho, Missouri. Bands Against Bullying, because we all have rights. Brought to you by honestbrutality.com, DMG Productions, and Rock Rage Radio. We are everywhere.